We are now in the dispatcher of the shop of extra heavy oil production on TATNEFT. Since the geography of each production increased, it was decided in 2014 to create a unified dispatcher center for gathering and analyzing information coming from different production sites for production and steam generation operations that were equipped with software and hardware. The project was designed by TATNEFT R&D institution. The software for collecting the data was also developed in TATNEFT Group. In the sites of extra heavy oil production, we have a lot of metering equipment, pressure, temperature meters, weight meters. This equipment is very different. The information and data is collected from all these sensors through a special dedicated software. Altogether, more than 500 sites and facilities are connected to this dispatcher center. The dispatcher receives every minute dozens of thousands of pieces of information which is processed and visualized for the dispatcher service. This equipment, hardware and software allow to bring information to the corporate information system, and any employee with an account in the system can have information, live information from the facilities of each production, and they can analyze it. Besides this, we are also implementing the project on digital oil field. Also, when we implement the project of digitizing each production sites. Under the digitization project, for the specialists, we have implemented algorithms notifying them about incidents. We have also robotized well management algorithms, which allows to increase production and to reduce equipment failure. Now we are at the Ashalchinskoye field, where the grand path of extra heavy production in Tatarstan began. Originally, at the initiative of the management of the company, a pilot site was identified at the Ashalchinskoye field, where first 3 pairs of wells were drilled. They were of special construction. They were drilled with a vertical drilling rig to the surface. They had 2 mouths, and they were operated both from vertical mouth and from the directional mouth. The first experience was very successful. When steam was injected from mobile steam generating units, the upper injection wells were injected with steam, and the lower producing wells were used to collect oil. And that's how the first extra heavy oil was obtained. Then it was decided to scale up the project. To develop the EHO field, we selected 2 technologies. The first one is SAG-D technology, steam-assisted gravitation drainage, when the upper well is injected with steam and the lower well is collecting oil. And in between them, there are about 5 meters. And the second technology is steam cyclic technology, where a single horizontal well is drilled, where in the first stage steam is injected, and at the second stage oil is produced. So this way we thermally treat the formation, increase the viscosity of oil, increase its mobility, and then we produce oil. The EHO fields are mainly located in the southeast of Tatarstan. They are located, they're scattered around. There are small deposits, standalone deposits. So starting with the Ashalchinskoye positive structure, where we obtained the first positive experience and first oil, that's how EHO production started in bigger scale. The project expansion was supported by the government and by the administration of the Republic of Tatarstan. Additional benefits were offered for mining, for AHO production. After that, a large number of oilfield service companies were engaged, a lot of number of specialists were engaged, and in the 2 years from 2014, the project grew very extensively. A lot of drilling rigs were involved, construction crews. In this time, we built a lot of directional, horizontal wells. There were a lot of infrastructural facilities built. It allowed to increase oil production, and presently we have reached daily production of more than 9.3 thousand tons per day. The annual production exceeded already 2 million tons. The cumulative production since 2006 is more than 10 million tons of oil, extra heavy oil. But this production faced a number of challenges which we had to resolve. And this is when we involved both in-house design institutes and the academic universities to develop new technologies, new approaches to production. Because initially, the cost of AHO production, extra heavy oil production, was very high. So we worked to reduce operating costs. We worked on introducing new technologies that would allow us to produce AHO in a more effective manner. We also introduced a large number of technologies that would allow to make production more effective and efficient, as well as to treat it in a more efficient manner. And we also tried to utilize water used in boilers. It was decided that it was necessary to minimize consumption of fresh water and to increase steam generation from associated water. In these plants, the associated water was treated, purified, and recirculated for steam generation. The next optimization measure was to introduce digital systems for automating AHO production. In this period, in these 14 years, we have developed a number of technologies, and we have obtained patents from global companies. So TATNEFT is one of the leaders in terms of the number of patents related to AHO production. As AHO deposits are located not very deep, we need to conduct measures to control environment. Our company has implemented measures to control the surface of the earth, and we also control open air quality. Because of the shallow depth of AHO deposits, it is necessary to monitor and control the environmental situation in the region. To this end, the company decided to deploy hydrodynamic model where the earth movements are monitored. We also monitor the quality of open air and the quality of the sources of open surface waters. So TATNEFT covers the entire range of aspects associated with AHO production, from drilling to treatment of oil to pumping it, control over environmental situation, etc. This has allowed us to lower costs, to increase efficiency, and to upscale this project. We are now at the well cluster of the Ashalchinskoye positive structure, where we see both injection and producing wells. The measurements at the producing wells are made with the help of weight meters, and the injection wells are controlled with the help of the fiber optic cable lowered down through the flexible pipe. And we have also measure the reliability of the pumps and measure pressure and temperature at the pump. Oil is produced through subsurface pipes with a temperature of 120 degrees. And then there is a discharge of water which is recirculated in a closed loop and used in steam injection. Now we have launched the project on robotizing EHO production. As to developing the schemes and algorithms, this was done with the help of specialists. In terms of digitization, the company keeps moving forward. The automation will cover the entire upstream activities. My obligation is to survey the wells and pipelines, pipelines, observation of safety rules, and the culture of production. We also have tasks from geologists to collect samples, for example, from producing wells. Before sampling oil, we come from the wind side. The sign on the sample bottle, extra heavy oil from the Ashalchinskoye oil field. Sign on the pipeline, the sample collection location. Then we send this to the lab for further testing. My name is Gusamov Rustam. I'm the head of the workshop number 4 of Almatyevsk Heat Network. We are in the boiler of Ashalchi with a capacity of 150 tons of steam an hour, or 2,400 steam a day. We are a pioneer in terms of generating steam for EHO production. The source of water for this boiler is the water from Kama River, which is then processed to reach required quality to generate steam. Here we have cutting-edge technologies with membrane technologies, light filtration. All technologies are automated. Participation of human in our process is about control of equipment, making sure that it meets all the required parameters. The boiler generates steam for the needs of TATNEFT for supplying to EHO wells. As to the scale of this facility is exemplified by the consumption, 10,000 cubic meters of natural gas an hour. Here we have implemented modern technologies such as ultrafiltration and reverse osmosis. The water from the Kama River undergoes mechanical treatment through disc filters. Then it goes to the ultrafiltration, where it undergoes more deep mechanical treatment from additives. Then it goes to the treatment facilities of the reverse osmosis technology, where complete demineralization takes place. Then this water is deoxidized and supplied to boilers for steam generation. Despite the fact that this facility has been operated already for more than 8 years, specialists of TATNEFT keep moving forward, and they always on the lookout for new solutions, both in terms of environmental safety, reducing operating costs, and introduction of new technologies. The plant for treatment of EHO is part of the EHO project as intended for the treatment of the product to the first-grade quality. The raw material comes with high content of water, up to 90%, and the temperature of 85%. The raw materials, thanks to the high temperature, comes here directly from the wells and doesn't require any further heating. At the first stage, the input material is separated into three phases: oil, water, and gas. Then oil is reduced to 1% through cold centers, and it is supplied to the electrohydrators, where deep dehydration takes place. Thanks to the high temperatures, the raw material then supplied directly from the wells and doesn't require further heating. At the first stage, the input materials through gas separator, it is separated into three phases. Then, through cold centers, oil is supplied to electric hydrators, where deep dehydration takes place. Then there is a heat separation in order to separate the remaining gas and bringing it to the commodity level. The associated water, after separation, is subjected to treatment from oil content and additives, and it happens in two stages. First, there is a filtration with hydrophobic filters, and then in technological reservoirs there is another treatment stage. Depending on the need, the water is sent either to the water pressure formation pressure maintenance system or other purposes. TATNEFT is an environmentally responsible company and rationally uses resources. Therefore, when we develop EHO fields, we maximize the reduction of consumption of fresh water thanks to using and reusing associated water. Our employees employ unique technologies for reusing the associated water and demineralizing it, and use it in steam generation. The formation pressure maintenance system consists of two blocks. Each block has a certain capacity. We have ultrafiltration block where we remove suspended oil content. The blocks of reverse osmosis, where we demineralize water, remove sulfur. The prepared treated water is stored in reservoirs for treated water, and then it is transported to the boilers with the help of pumps. EHO project has allowed the company to take its operation to a new level and to acquire new skills. We're a leader in developing tight oil reserves.